Game number 2 on the season, and the Boston Bruins are still in New Jersey, taking on the New Jersey Devils, as is customary, and what you will see a lot of during this season with the ongoing pandemic, as teams are trying to limit travel as much as possible, or the league, for that matter, trying to limit travel as much as possible. So you're going to see a lot of series between two teams. So game number 2 against the New Jersey Devils. And when you play the same team twice, you expect improvements and adjustments to be made. And for the Bruins, some simple ones would be getting more traffic 5-on-5 in front of Mackenzie Blackwood, making better defensive decisions when it comes to pinching into the zone or going back and actually playing defense, reducing your turnovers, more consistency. But instead, we didn't really see much of that. And on the other side, the New Jersey Devils made themselves a lot of adjustments. So this is game number 2, Bruins Recap Show. Boston Bruins. We start things off in the first period. It's Mackenzie Blackwood in net for the New Jersey Devils. For the Boston Bruins, it's Yaroslav Halak getting his first start of the season. And so on the top line, Anders Bjork gets slated in as Jared Studnicka is a healthy scratch for this one. Craig Smith makes his debut in a Boston uniform. He starts on the third line with Charlie Coyle and Nick Ritchie. And in the time that I told you all of that, Kevin Miller has dropped the gloves with Miles Wood. Miles Wood, of course, last game on Thursday had 2 goalie interference penalties, and I believe he ran into Tuukka Rask 3 separate occasions, and the grizzled old veteran Kevin Miller is not going to take kindly to that. And if you are Miles Wood, why would you want to fight this guy? Like, look at this guy. Look at him. He is a grizzled, chiseled veteran. Anyway, those two dropped the gloves, 5 for fighting on both sides, and you would think that this would give the Boston Bruins some life, some momentum, some energy. But instead it does the exact opposite, as the New Jersey Devils really started with a lot of energy and a lot of tempo early going in this game. Not a good start for Boston, although this is very typical of matinee hockey for the Boston Bruins. A little bit later into the first period, Matt Grzelcyk has possession behind the net, looking to make a pass to Nick Ritchie. It's not a good pass, not a hard enough pass at all. It gets intercepted by Jack Hughes. Over to Ty Smith at the point. He blasts it, and it gets tipped by Miles Wood. Yes, the same Miles Wood that got punched by Kevin Miller. And it is a 1-0 New Jersey lead. We head to the room for the second period. And in the second period, Bruce Cassidy, the head coach of the Boston Bruins, having to play a little bit of musical right wing. So much because Bruins not finding anything 5-on-5. And on top of that, Andre Kasha goes down. He gets either a glove to the face or a stick to the face. Either way, he went down the tunnel. He did not return for the entire game. So Bruce Cassidy scrambling to make something happen with the lines, including putting at one point Marchand Bergeron and David Krejci all on the same line, which is just ludicrous to consider that as a line in general. A little bit later on in the second, Matty Grzelcyk shot, it goes in, but the referee on the ice says no goal. Craig Smith gets contact with Mackenzie Blackwood, and it looks also like Dmitry Kulikov makes contact with Craig Smith, but not enough to fully inhibit Smith's ability to not run into Mackenzie Blackwood. Hence the call on the ice of no goal stood. New Jersey would go to the power play. And this particular power play was good for the Boston Bruins, because when you cannot score 5-on-5, you score 4-on-5. That makes no sense, but for the Bruins it does. Brad Marchand, great individual effort here. He takes the puck from his own defensive corner all the way up to all the way up the boards, fighting Kyle Palmieri the entire way, abusing him, taking his lunch money and his lunch from that day. Good God, the poor man's got to eat. And he passes it over to a completely uncovered Patrice Bergeron, and he shoots it right underneath the armpit of Mackenzie Blackwood. A shorthanded goal for the new captain. 1-1. And I just want to point out right here, like, take a look at this. If you are New Jersey, I got to ask, who is covering Patrice Bergeron right here? Like, look at the room he's got. Anyway, the game is tied 1-1. We go to the third period. And in the third period, the Bruins get outshot 11-5. 11-5. 11-5. That is how bad this team was 5-on-5. 5 shots in an entire period. Just, you can't win with that. Matt Grzelcyk gets a hooking penalty with 2 minutes left to go. Yaroslav Halak has to stand on his head for most of this game. Jack Hughes has the game on his stick, completely misses. Thank God. We go to overtime. So New Jersey will start the overtime period on the power play. That's a 4-on-3 power play, which means once Matt Grzelcyk comes out of the penalty box, it'll be 4-on-4. Then we go to 3-on-3. I'm sure most of you watching this know that, but I feel like explaining that just to be safe. Anyway, at the end of that power play, Charlie Coyle on a breakaway chance. Matt Grzelcyk jumps up into the rush. It is a 2-on-0, but the back check by Miles Wood, the effort alone by Miles Wood of the New Jersey Devils, knocks the puck away from Charlie Coyle. Doesn't get a shot off. And then we go towards the very, very end of overtime. You would think that the Bruins would steal an opportunity to go to a shootout yet again, but instead, David Krejci in the offensive zone passes it over to Matty Grzelcyk, tries to take a shot. There's just way too much traffic, never gets to Mackenzie Blackwood, ends up on the stick of Kyle Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri passes it off the boards, past David Krejci, who's trying to block it. It goes over to Severson, and Severson and Coyle are getting into a little bit of a battle on the boards, and then just this pass alone. What a pass by Severson. Backhands it right onto the stick of Igor Sharangovich. Sharangovich has about 10 steps on a gassed Matty Grzelcyk. Goes through the 5-hole of Jaro Halak, and that's the dagger in the heart. The Bruins lose in overtime to the New Jersey Devils 2-1. And if it wasn't for Yaroslav Halak, this game could have been a lot worse, because the Bruins just couldn't muster anything 5-on-5 for the majority of this game. It was about maybe 48 minutes of the Bruins just getting outplayed. That's the long and short of it. So Sharangovich gets the game winner. 1.7 seconds remaining on the clock. Bruce Cassidy having to play musical lines the whole night, trying to find something 5-on-5, because this is now the second game in a row where Boston has not scored a 5-on-5 goal, and I'm getting playoff bubble flashbacks, which I don't like. So this is a thing. Is it the fact that Pasternak's not around? Is it the short camp where they're still trying to figure stuff out 5-on-5? Something needs to be addressed. Maybe give it one or two more games, but something really needs to be addressed with this team to figure out just what exactly is going on 5-on-5. The situation needs to be figured out, and it's the middle six. If your name is not Bergeron, or if your name isn't Marchand, you're having trouble putting the puck in the net. You're having trouble just getting to the right spots. And also, I haven't yet seen the update regarding Andre Kasha, if he's going to be available for Monday night. So then Jack Studnicka, you would think, jumps into the lineup, or do we see Par Lindholm get called up from, I believe, the taxi squad? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, and speaking of Monday night, that is the next game for the Boston Bruins. 5 o'clock, they take on the New York Islanders. a very strong defensive team, a very, very good defensive team, and a good goaltender in Semyon Varlamov, who should be slated to get that start. So we'll see if Boston can figure something out, maybe get a puck in the net 5-on-5. It would be lovely to finally get one of those. A lot of improvement needs to be made, but it is early in the season, and the Bruins are still with 3 points. So we'll figure out where it goes from here on the next Bruins Recap Show.